I honestly don't even know where to start with this. Greetings, my good friends on the other side of the YouTube screen today. If you've been on YouTube for any amount of time, especially if you're watching videos in the resale or self-improvement or business niches, you have probably gotten some ads or some suggested videos by some of these lovely folks. And these are just a few examples of a massive group of people on YouTube called Amazon gurus. And you guys know the type, right? They have YouTube channels and websites that are dedicated to helping people develop their Amazon FBA businesses. There's a lot of hype surrounding their content. Usually they're selling a course of some kind. And I remember when I was really early on in my resale journey, coming across some of these videos and channels, wishing that I had some sort of a guide to understand what of the information was genuine and helpful content and what content was just phony course sales. And at this point in my resale journey, I've been selling on Amazon for a couple years now, been doing it full time for around a year. I think I have a much clearer idea of what is fact and what is fiction. So I thought I would make a video dedicated to helping you guys parse some of that out as well if you are new, and giving my completely unfiltered, honest reactions to some of the claims that these videos make. So let's get into it. All right, so this first clip is from this guy named Tim with Private Label Masters. I put him in here because I have seen his ads come up so much with the videos that I watch, and I wanted to get a chance to respond to one of his ads. So let's see what he has to say.
Looking to start an Amazon business? Don't be like Joey. Why do I say that? Joey joined a course from somebody who doesn't even sell on Amazon. Lost him $10,000 on 2 bad products. Then he joined another course. It got him suspended and completely banned. But now Joey, here he is. That's him, right? Yep, that's Joey.
Okay, so here for me is a little bit of a red flag right off the bat. Gurus and course sellers oftentimes will play off of one of two primary instincts to get people more interested in their course. One is fear and one is greed. He's playing pretty hard into the fear aspect right now. He's saying, ooh, here's this guy. He lost $10,000. He got his account suspended. This is something that you really don't want to do. That's a little bit of a red flag for me that he is leading with that. Granted, this is an ad. You're going to want to be shocking and everything to be effective, but not getting great vibes from this guy so far. Let's see what more he has to say.
That's him walking out of his 9-to-5 job for the very last time. How do I know this?
Another thing, right off the bat, one thing that gurus love to do that I have really never heard of from people that I really look up to and respect and trust on the platform is they're constantly bashing 9-to-5 jobs. This is something that's very rare from people who really have your best interest in mind. In fact, a lot of experienced resellers come from a background of starting with a 9-to-5 job and gradually building a side hustle into a full-time income. That's what I did. So I have absolutely nothing bad to say about the 9-to-5 hustle, and especially because a lot of people love their 9-to-5 job. So be a little bit careful anytime you hear someone promising to help you escape the rat race or quit your 9-to-5 really quickly. Normally those are signs that they're trying to get you to do something. They're trying to play on a little bit of your fear or insecurity that you're going to be trapped in that job like we were talking about earlier. But let's keep going. Maybe it gets better from here.
Because Joey's one of my students. His income now from Amazon has completely surpassed his 9-to-5, and he's about to scale to the moon.
There's that greed I was talking about.
You know why? This is Rob. Rob just sold his Amazon business for $400,000. How do I know? Because Rob is one of my first students. And this here is Joey. Joey makes over $10,000 every 30 days. Now, what do these three...
So here's the thing. I don't doubt that those results are actual results from someone, but this is the other side of the equation that I was telling you about earlier, playing to that greed, promising these high numbers that is going to entice you to come into probably the free training and complete whatever the course is, pay the full fee, because in reality what he's most interested in is going to be selling this course that will make you successful and quit the rat race and all that. Really all the signs from this so far have not been very promising.
One thing that those three have in common, and the rest of all these individuals, is they all went to a free training that I put on. And I'm inviting you to come to that free training.
So long story short with this guy, he's demonstrating pretty much every textbook guru sign. I would not discredit him entirely. I believe that those are his actual numbers. I believe he knows how to run an Amazon business. I would take what he says with a little bit of grain of salt though, because you know that ultimately his end motivation is going to be to sell you a course and not necessarily to provide a whole lot of free value up front. All right, so this next clip is from a woman named Tatiana, comes up in my suggestions all the time, has a pretty big channel, pretty good following. And this video is titled What It Actually Costs to Start Selling on Amazon FBA. So as someone who has done that process personally, I'm interested in hearing what she has to say. So let's get into this one as well.
Optional are things that are going to help your business and things that I recommend but are not absolutely mandatory. So you can see here, the first thing I have here is a course, a training program. So if you are subscribed to this channel, and I hope you are, you probably know that although I offer as much Amazon FBA information and value and video content to you as possible, I still recommend that you invest in a comprehensive step-by-step training program. I really want to...
Well, that didn't take long. So right off the bat here, she's selling her course. Here's the thing. I am not completely against courses. I have no doubt that there's going to be a lot of value in a lot of these courses, and maybe it's in a condensed form that will help some people. I wouldn't say that you should never buy a course. I would say that there's so much free information on YouTube. I would say that there's so much completely free good information on YouTube that you can learn the entire process totally for free. I don't think buying a course is necessary, especially not one that costs $1,000 to $5,000. That seems kind of crazy. Personally, I started my Amazon business with nothing but YouTube and $500 for inventory and supplies and stuff. Granted, it was a slow process. It was my hobby and then my side hustle for a while. I gradually built it up as I had my 9-to-5 by going to garage sales, thrift stores, buying stuff super cheap, hustling at night and on weekends, and building up my capital that way. If I would have had to invest $1,000 to $5,000 up front, I would have had to wait a lot longer before I could actually afford that. So this whole mentality of like, and she does have it in the optional column, so I will definitely give her that. I think that belongs there, and I think maybe for some people who have a lot of capital in the beginning, that could be a good option, but for me it wasn't. I would say for most people who don't have, you know, a small loan of $1 million to start your online business, your FBA store, I would not recommend going that route.
Emphasize this. That's what I did when I first got started, and I honestly don't know if I would be where I'm at today with my business had it not been for that course. So I highly recommend it because there's just pieces of information that you're just not going to find through Google and YouTube, and I've seen too many people who try and go at this on their own, kind of in the dark, guessing, and end up wasting a lot of time and a lot of money and get very disheartened and don't continue the business. So
Yes, those are very real risks, but buying a course is not going to spare you of those. It's not a cure-all. It's not an easy solution, and I don't really agree with her claim that there's stuff you're not going to find on Google and YouTube. I found everything I needed on Google and YouTube, so...
Rather you start with a good foundation, you know, and think of it like you're investing in your education, which is exactly what this is. You know, instead of investing in a course in university, you're investing in your self-education through an online training program.
I do want to take a moment and say here that if you're taking an Amazon FBA course and you don't for the entire time look like a stock photography model, you're probably doing something wrong.
So remember that out of everything that you learn here, it's learning. That's what's the most... So with time, because... All
right, so I fast forwarded a little bit here because there was a whole lot of info. It's a long video, but look at this list here. I mean, this is wild. This is thousands and thousands of dollars that she's recommending to start an Amazon FBA business. Granted, what she's talking about here is a business model called private label, which I'm unfamiliar with. It's about creating your own products, manufacturing them, and then having Amazon fulfill them. You do your own marketing, you do your own customer service, that kind of thing. So I'm guessing that this video is accurate for that kind of business model. However, the title was how much it costs to start an Amazon FBA business. I started mine with $500, so you definitely don't need $10,000+ to do that if you're willing to sell used items, if you're willing to hustle, get out to the thrifts and the garage sales, and make money on low dollar items that way, which is how I started. Alrighty, so this next video I'm really excited about. It's from a gentleman named Bo Crable. Now he has a ton of ads, very guru-like ads that come up in my YouTube feed. Not so much recently, but he is still very active on YouTube. And this video is actually the third suggestion that comes up when you search selling video games online, which is my primary niche. So I'm very interested to hear what Bo has to say about selling video games online, specifically via Amazon FBA for beginners. So let's see what he says.
My name is Bo Crable, and in today's video, I will be discussing and showing you how I am making $1,000 a day by selling video games.
Okay, so after watching that intro, I'm realizing two things. One, I definitely need to get some Lamborghinis and some ladies in my intro, even though those have nothing to do with my business at all. And also, if I want to have any credibility whatsoever, I need to get a blazer to put over my t-shirt. So I'll be right back. Okay, that's much better. Don't worry, people. You can trust me now.
What I want to discuss right now is why video games. So, the reason why video games is a good category or good products to sell is for multiple reasons. So on my YouTube channel, I talk about making sure I'm selling inventory that is consistent and I can sell it all year round. I'd much rather have a source of inventory that I can sell 365 days out of the year that does consistently well instead of some products that do amazing just for the holidays or just for one season, right? I like to definitely have my business be as passive as possible and very consistent. And video games fit that category.
Well, so far, our friend Bo is honestly kind of hitting the nail on the head. I mean, I like video games for all the same reasons. They sell year round. They have a really high sales velocity, so they sell really quickly. The only thing that I would take issue with is that nothing about an Amazon FBA business, at least the way I do it, is passive. People sometimes refer to Amazon FBA or to reselling as passive income, and at least the way I do it, it's just not. It's work, and there's no getting around it. I would not recommend starting an Amazon FBA business hoping that it's going to be passive income, because at least for me there's nothing passive about it.
Now what I want to discuss is about the types of video games I'm selling and where I'm selling them at. So obviously I'm selling any type of Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo games, right? We all understand that, Switch games. And where I'm selling them on are eBay, Amazon, and Walmart. That's how I'm making the money and selling it. That's where my customers are buying from. Can you sell on your own website? Yeah. I believe it's much easier to sell on Amazon, eBay, and Walmart just because that's where consumers are already going and they trust. And there's, I would say, two avenues to go about with video games.
Great advice from my friend Bo here. Definitely would not recommend starting your own website. Sell on those platforms. I've never sold on Walmart, actually. I can't speak much to that. I would say that Amazon is significantly better than eBay if you are ungated in video games.
You can be selling used video games or new ones, and that's just going to depend on how you're sourcing your inventory. Sourcing used video games, obviously, the routes of going about that is you can sometimes buy in bulk of used video games. Maybe you just have some laying around, or you hustle at like on Craigslist or Facebook marketplaces, or maybe you own a retail store that sells video games and accept trade-ins. If you plan to sell those online, if you're a brick and mortar store and you want to go sell your used video games, I would highly suggest looking into eBay. Can you sell them on Amazon? Yeah, Walmart, not so much. But eBay is going to be the ideal platform from that. The reason why I like selling used video games as well is simply there's large profits with that. I'm going to be kind of discussing more about used and new video games. But where I actually do most of my sales for selling video games is actually off selling new, brand new, sealed in the box, in the plastic, selling them on Amazon. So Amazon is a platform. It's pretty much an online shopping mall. People are looking for new products, and Amazon will prefer sellers who are selling new. So now we have that clear.
No, actually we don't have it clear, because this is the biggest thing that I just hard disagree on. The truth is probably 90 to 95% of the video games that I sell on Amazon are in used condition. I spend all day looking at comps on eBay versus Amazon, comparing prices, seeing what they're going for on each site. Used games sell way better on Amazon, and he's right, they do have better margins. That's why I like them more. I source them from GameStop.com, yard sales, thrift stores, estate sales, wherever I can get them. And while it may be true that Amazon might have a preference for new games, I have seen that sometimes with how they award the buy box to new games rather than used games. my used games, if it's the right title at the right price, it will fly off the shelf through Amazon FBA. So I really wouldn't take much stock in what he's saying there.
But with video games, you can definitely get started with a pretty low amount of capital. I make orders all the time of a few $100, $250. And if you have $1,000 or so, you can definitely get started with video games. So now what I want to discuss with you is the process that I go about with selling video games and how I'm actually making money with them. So what I do is I figure out what's a good video game to sell. I source those video games from suppliers, and these are the same suppliers that happen to also sell to GameStop, Best Buy, Costco, Walmart. Buy from them. In my Amazon courses, I go over on how to get your account set up with and how to go find suppliers. I'm not going to discuss about that in this video, but if you want to learn more about that, I definitely go over my Amazon course. But however, I work with the suppliers and I build relationships with them. And that's also something I talk about in my Amazon course about building relationships. So that's going to be another important factor. But I get access to their products and get their prices, and then I buy them in bulk, and then I send them to an Amazon fulfillment center. So the reason why I do this is because when you're selling on Amazon, what happens is you can fulfill your inventory in two ways. You can ship it yourself, or you can allow Amazon to ship it for you. As I told you earlier in this video, Amazon prefers sellers selling new, right? They're also going to prefer sellers that are allowing Amazon to do the work, fulfilling through FBA, allowing them, you put them into their fulfillment center and they ship out and give you prime shipping. So I do that and repeat the process, and that's really it. And the margins I'm looking for when I'm selling video games, I like to say at the minimum of around 10%, but I'm really focused on this thing called turnover rates, on how fast and quick I can turn over those video games. So let's say I'm getting 10%. So what I mean by this, if I invest $1,000 into some video games and I have a 10% ROI on them, meaning that I'll profit $100 by selling those $1,000 of video games, so that $1,000 gets turned to $1,100, which if you're an investor, you've been in the stock market, you've been in real estate, you realize that's amazing to do that in a month's time. If I can do that in 2 weeks, or even at the worst case 4 weeks, that's
Okay, so this is the second part of the video that I take serious issue with. I do not agree with this approach at all, especially for beginners. And this is for a couple reasons. Number one is I work with some of the distributors that he is talking about, electronics and video games distributors, and the ugly truth is sometimes their prices are higher than what you can get at discount retailers like Walmart. For example, I was looking into buying some copies of Super Smash Bros. On the Switch just a couple months ago. I could get them for $51 at my distributor, but at Walmart I would have only had to pay $50 for a brand new copy of the exact same game. So the first issue is that finding games with a 10% margin, once you factor in FBA fees and shipping and taxes that you have to pay and everything, is going to be pretty difficult. But the second issue that I have, and probably even more importantly, is he said earlier in this video that you can get started with this method for only a few $100s, but if you're putting in $300 and it's taking you on average 4 weeks to sell through your games and you're making a 10% ratio, that's $30 profit on $300 for that whole month. And while he's right that for an investor who's sitting on stacks and stacks of cash, to get a 10% return in a month is really good. For someone who's trying to start a business with low capital, a 10% return on your money in a month's time is really bad. You want to be looking for items that you can 10x or even 20x your money on that you're finding really cheap, like I mentioned earlier, to flip on eBay or Amazon, to really start building up your cash flow, your bankroll, and get the profits going, to really start building up that cash flow early on. I would so much rather have you buy an item for $1 at a yard sale and flip it for $20 on eBay rather than spending $300 to make $30. And that's not even to say anything of all the risk that you would be taking on by buying products in bulk like this early on in your business when you don't really know what you're doing. I'm not going to get really into that. I think I have talked enough about this video. Let's get into our last one of the day. Alrighty, so this last video here is an ad that I actually got very recently on my own personal account that I thought was intriguing and wanted to react to for you guys.
No, you actually ask them to build your business for you, because guess what? Most gurus, the things that they teach, the concepts that they claim to have the secret wealth formula, they actually haven't done it themselves. Now, what if somebody actually built your business for you, made it sales for you, and then only handed it over to you? Would you think you could be successful? Well, that is something the team here at the E-commerce Empire Builders, myself, Jordan, and Ali, actually came to realize. We realized that combined total, we have 25 plus years in online experience, millions of dollars in sales made online between us, and we actually want to offer to build your business for you. We do this for a handful of people each and every single month because
I honestly don't even know where to start with this. A good thing to do when anytime somebody is pitching you a proven formula, a simple process that's going to produce simple results every single time in a predictable way, ask yourself, if that's true, why aren't they just replicating this process for themselves a whole bunch of different times? I mean, I don't know exactly what numbers they're promising here, but if it's really that easy to build an Amazon business, a turnkey Amazon business that like you can just hand over to someone, first of all, why in the world would they want to hand it over? What are they gaining from that? I don't know, I'm getting worked up. Maybe they'll explain more later in the video.
We know it is the best way that we can actually guarantee your results. So if you're interested in learning more about what this entails, what this is covered in the corners of this video or up above or down below, you'll be able to opt in, you'll be able to learn more about what this business in the box covers, and then you'll be able to schedule a call with us to see if it's a good fit. But if you're already watching this far, I kind of want to cover a little bit of what this covers. Number one, it doesn't matter if you don't have a niche, doesn't matter if you don't have a product, doesn't matter if you don't have any experience with e-commerce whatsoever, okay? What we're going to be doing is we're going to build out your entire business for you. We're going to launch your business for you, right? Then only after it's made its initial sales do we hand it over to you. Now, I know you might be thinking, okay, so you're going to hand me over this business, but I don't have any experience. Not a problem whatsoever, okay? We're going to work with you for 3 months each and every single day to scale your business so it's continuing to grow. So if you're, again,
so no, in the rest of the video, they did nothing to explain why in the world they would hand over this business that they have apparently built for you over to you. Completely unexplained. This video played completely to the greed side of the equation that I was warning you guys about earlier with gurus promising these lofty claims. I think this is really catering to like lazy people and inexperienced people who don't know how to build a business, don't really want to put in the effort to figure out how to do it on their own. They want to outsource all of the work, have somebody else do it for them, and somehow reap all of the rewards and do none of the work. I don't really understand what the pitch is here, but guys, run the other way anytime you see somebody pitching this junk, because it's just nonsense. But anyway, folks, that is going to do it for my reactions and rant of the day. Thank you guys for indulging me and going on that journey with me. I really hope that this was helpful for someone out there who maybe was in the same position as me, not really knowing who to trust or what to think about these Amazon FBA gurus. I make a lot of references in my videos to channels that I trust and have learned a lot from. They're not hard to find. I make a ton of references in my videos to channels that I trust and have personally learned a lot from. It's something that I try to emulate in my own channel as well. So if that's something you're looking for, I would love it if you would like this video and subscribe. If you've gotten value out of this video so far and appreciate me not trying to sell you a course, if you would like this video and consider subscribing, that would mean a lot to me. And the question of the day that I have for all of you guys at home is two things. One, how do you recognize an untrustworthy guru when you see one? And also, do you have any experience, any favorites or least favorites that you have seen or dealt with in the past? I would love to get in a discussion about it in the comments below. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will catch you on the flip.